Good morning, everyone. I'm audible.
Good
My
morning, sir. You are audible.
Yeah, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So, guys, in today's session, uh, first of all, I will talk about the yesterday session. I think so. That was the session. Uh, it was a perfect revision for you, right? Because you are going to be appear for your revision test and MC and this midterm exam also, right? Very soon. So, guys, in today's session, I will start it where I have left it in the previous session. And in the previous session, we have discussed about the sampling method, observation, and we have observed a decision maker behavior. Now, one more topic is left in this unobtrusive methods. We will finish that, and later on we can move to the next one. So I'm just opening my PPT. So till that portion I have covered in my previous session. So only the point which is left in this particular topic is the observing the uh, decision maker physical environment. Okay. So in that I will just revise this one. So it will also help you to connect it with this particular topic. So guys, last time I have talked about like uh, how you are going to be observe the decision maker behavior. Okay. So for that, I've just shown you one method that is called as the analyst play script, and in that, with the help of this particular diagram, I have shown you like what are the work has been described by a particular that decision maker. Okay. So in that particular thing, just a minute. Everybody has joined. Only 64. Okay. So in that, if you can just see in this, it's a sample page for the analyst describing the decision making. So we have already gone through like who are the decision makers. Okay. So two or three basic actors are there. First one was the quality assurance manager. Second one was the shop floor supervisor. So what is the conversation between them? And another one is the vice president of the production. Okay, so on the left hand side, three actors are there. So how you are going to be observe their decision making, what type of decisions they are also taking it. So from where we are also be try to be obtain such kind of a information, we have to be try to be obtained it. Now the next thing which you are going to be seen, now the system analyst has to be observe some physical environment of the decision maker. Now, which are these physical environment are there? Now, if I can give you example, then we have to be see their seating arrangement. What are the what are the tools basically they are using for processing of the data? If uh, if that particular decision maker in his office or her office, computer is there, printer is there, lot of big shelf is there in that, some of the good journals they have placed it into that, lot of different kind of other tools if they are using. Okay, so we are trying to be just observe each and every tool, what is the purpose, what they are using. So we try to be find out some of the information from the physical environment. Okay, now for that, there is a one method they are supposed to be used. is like we have to be call it as a STROBE. Okay, STROBE, right? The full form of this STROBE is basically it's a structured observation of the environment. It would be a technique for observing the decision maker environment. Now we have already talked about their behavior, right? So behavior, like what kind of work has been done by the particular decision maker, who are the actors has been involved, or what kind of a decision that they are taking. Now here we have to be concentrate on physical environment over here. Just a moment. Okay. Now, what are the elements of this STROBE? We have to be analyze some 7 environmental elements. Now we have to be check what is the office location. Okay. We have to be check each and every environment in the terms of like you have to be think like we have to be build an information system for them, right? So we have to be check in such a manner already the decision maker is know that particular fact, like we have to be process the data, we have to be store the data somewhere, right? Like if you are just processing the data, then how you are going to process the data if you are using any different kind of the tools? So we are trying to be just find out some of the information, try to gather some of the information from environmental, or we can call it as a physical elements. So office location, desk placement, stationary equipment if you are using. There are some props related to that. External information sources, office lighting and color, and clothing worn by the decision maker. So generally we have seen that like there would be it's a perfect dress code that the decision makers has to be follow in the certain organization, right? So these are also the one of the factors. So we are trying to just find out some of the information related to the like related to the technology oriented only. Office location, so they are just giving some of the characteristics, like what would be a ideal office would be there. Okay, so it would be a accessible office, main corridor, open door, major traffic flow area, increase the interaction frequency and informal messages. So whoever is interacting with the decision maker, okay, because in the organization there are a lot of the decision makers are there. So in one of the level of, if I can talk about the middle level manager, then quality assurance, that type of a manager is also considered in the middle level manager category. Okay, so how he's just going to be interact with the shop floor manager who are actually working in the operational level of the organization. So they are just trying to show the some of the characteristics, and based on that characteristics, the system analyst has to be find out these things in the particular organization and try to gather some of the information, like it is there, it is not there, like this type of means table or like that type of chart we are supposed to be prepared. Inaccessible offices, so may view the organizational differently, drift apart from others in the objective. So if it is not accessible, okay, so there would be a view of the means external. If I can talk about the external people, then they can just see the organization in a different way. So accessible offices should be there. They are just showing some of the characteristics in this particular slide. 74, still 74. Okay. Now desk placement. Now with the help of this, we can try to be understand with the one diagram they have given it over here. 1 minute. Yeah, you can just see that. Okay, I'll just zoom it. Okay. Now this particular diagram is basically a, like you can just see the title of this particular figure. Observe a decision maker office for the clues like concerning his or her personal storage. Okay, so now you can, they have just trying to show it with the red arrows over here. These things are available. So what the things what the elements, on the basis of that you are going to be observe the decision maker with the help of physical all these elements. So if it is there in that office or not. So there would be a PC on the desk. Okay, there is a proper lightning method is there. There is a thread journals in the bookcase, so they are just carrying a particular bookcase is there. CD reading, right? Okay, the CDs are there, and one particular file cabinet is there. So what they are trying to be just find it out like what is the image of that particular person, whether he is interested in data processing, whether he is personally doing some kind of data processing or not. Okay, so his or her personal storage, what type of processing he is doing or sharing of the information. Because generally, when the system analyst is just going to be observe these kind of things, then uh, they may not have the such information system in their organization, but they have these PCs, right? So based on that, if you just want to be create the fully operational information system for that particular organization, then with the help of this, we can just find out whether they are already carrying such kind of things, whether they are doing such kind of a thing from their own. It is just showing the interest of the particular decision maker. So desk placement, visitors in a tight space, back to wall, large expense behind the desk indicates the maximum power position. Desk facing the wall, chair at side encourages the participation or equal exchanges. So some of the characteristics related to the physical environment. Stationary office equipment. Now the system analyst also has to be observed under the physical environment of a decision maker, like they are just using this kind of file cabinets or the book shelves, like we have seen it over here in this particular diagram. So file cabinets and bookshelves, if not present, then the person has to store few items of the information personally in his computer. If an abundance, personal stores, person stores and values information. So they have to be just checked by the physical environment, like what is their interest, like if they know the fundamental or they know the value of the data. If they have stored or if it has been stored into the like files, okay, or whether they have stored it into their computers. Props, if the decision maker is using such kind of the props, so that will also come into the category of physical environment. Calculators, personal computers, pens, pencils and rulers, if present, the person processes the data personally. So they are just doing any whatever the data they have. So means we can we can make this kind of a like what we have to say, we can make such kind of a image of a person, like the person is doing the like processing of the data on a personal basis. So he's doing personally all these things if he has this all these props. External information sources. Okay, now other than that, we have talked about the lightning, the dress code, okay, the file cabinet, computers, and journals, right? So external information sources are also related to that. Trade journals or newspapers indicate the person, values outside information. Company reports, memos, policy handbooks indicate the person values the internal information. So, like we just want to be know, like in an organization, we have the employees internally, right? But external, always we have to be work with the external environment people. Like some of the customers are there, vendors are there, different type of stakeholders are also there. So we have to be work with them for the benefit of the organization. So what they're just trying to be find it out over here, like what is the external information sources? Like you have some journals, okay, or you have some any other kind of the source, from there you will find out some of the data, or like you will find out some of the data related to your competitors, okay, because every organization has some competitors, right? So if I can talk about the competitors data, what they have already launched, what is the price, and all. So some of the are the confidential information, and some of the basically public information. So how you are going to be find out the competitor information? So that is also they are talking about the external information sources. Next one is the office lighting and color. Okay. So that is not means put more attention, but we have to what the things are there, so we have to study that. Okay. So there would be some related to the physical environment, office lighting and color. Okay, more formal communication with the help of. So we have seen that like quantitative documents and qualitative documents. So remember that who will be in the category of quantitative or who will be in the category of qualitative. So they are just talking about over here the memos and the reports. Clothing, it is related to the, okay, so there would be a particular dress code. Okay, so they are just trying to be observe that thing also. So they have just given the dress code for the male and the female. Okay, the formal two-piece suit, maximum authority. Casual dressing, it would be a sport jacket and slacks, more participative decision making. Female, like they have given the dress code, right? So in this particular topic, small topic, but very useful when it comes to the. So both the topics are the common when we have studied like observing decision maker behavior first of all. Okay, so in that one of the method we have seen that is called as the play script, and another one is the observing the decision maker behavior through the physical environment. Okay, so yeah, so this is about it. Now I'm just proceeding further to the next topic. Okay, that is called as the agile modeling and the prototype. Yeah, any question based on this, guys? I'm just closing it. Yeah, any question, guys? Yeah, physical environment. Yeah, small topic basically. Okay, so you can remember some of the points, right? Okay, so okay, so I'm just opening my PPT. Next PPT. Right. So guys, in this unit number 2, this particular topic is the last topic, agile modeling and the prototyping. Now, before studying about this particular topic, I just want to be speak it out about the introduction and all. Right. So, agile modeling or agile software development part, guys, we have already seen, right, in the unit number 1. So that has the 5 phases basically. That was the planning, exploring, right? Iteration, then we have a implementation, then we have a maintenance. So one thing that we have find it out, like SDLC has the lot of stages, okay, and in the agile modeling, agile when we are using when we try to build an information system or any software development with the help of the agile method, then in the agile method they are more concentrated on the user's feedback. Okay, if you can just try to remember like what are the 5 phases are there in the agile modeling, then you will just try to recall it about the third phase. Okay, the third phase was the iteration. Okay, what they are doing, like they are just trying to build the model based on the user requirement, and every time whatever the changes that they are doing, they are just showing it to the user or the client, and the client or the user will give the immediate feedback. And on the feedback, if anything has to be changed, right, they have to be changes immediately, and again and again and again, lot of every time they are just showing this particular model, okay, whatever they have done. I'm not talking about the full model. Okay. Now in SDLC we have seen, like once we have given the requirement, so everything, the analysis, the designing, the development, the implementation, and finally we have to be deliver the product. Now, in this particular chapter, we will concentrate on two important things. First thing is the agile modeling, okay, that is more concentrating on the user requirement, okay, and the another which very important point is the prototyping. Okay. Now, what is this prototyping? Prototyping is also the one of the method, okay, which is used more widely used in RED. RED is the new concept over here. That is the rapid application development. And another method is the agile modeling. So we can say now in this particular chapter, we will start it with the prototyping concept. We will try to be understand that there are four types of prototyping are there. We'll try to be see prototyping first, and then we can move ahead to the RED and the agile model. Okay. Now, learning objectives. So understand the roots of agile modeling in prototyping and four main types of prototyping. We are able to see or and then use prototyping for human information requirement gathering. Understand the agile modeling and their core practices. So some of the core practices, if I can just say, first of all, 100% it is the feedback, correct? Because they are applying the method, prototype method in their software development. So feedback is there. Some of the values, core values are there, right? So like this type of core practices we are going to be see, that is differentiate from the other development methodologies. We have to be learn the importance of values that has been critical to agile modeling. Understand how to improve the efficiency for the users who are knowledge workers using either the structured methods or the agile model. So if we can give the example over here about this structured method, that SDLC would be means we can consider that SDLC as a structured method. All these steps are there. Once we have taken the requirement, we are fully we are working on that, and finally we are delivering the system. Okay. So these are the some of the points. So three important things are there. First is prototyping, second one is RED, rapid application development, and third one is the agile modeling. Agile modeling, but first is the prototyping. Now we are just supposed to be understand the prototyping first over here. Agile modeling is a collection of innovative, user-centered approaches to the system development. So as I have just mentioned you guys, like agile modeling and in the prototyping, they are more concentrated on the user requirement basically. So whatever, so user has also play a very important role, like I have already mentioned in the agile development. Okay. So it would be a, we can call this type of methods as a user-centered approach. Prototyping is also as an information gathering technique useful in seeking the user reactions. Okay. Now, when we have to be try to take the requirement about our information system, okay, who will do that? Now we know the system analyst is going to be gather such kind of a information about the proposed information system. Now, so prototyping has to be included like as an information gathering technique, and when we are using this prototyping, the system analyst has to be seek the initial reaction from the users and management to the prototype, user suggestions about changing or cleaning up the proposed system, possible innovations related to that, and revision plan detailing which part of the system need to be done it first, or which branches of an organization has to be prototyping next. Now, now guys, we are just going little bit into an uh, slowly we are just going into an practical manner, right? So in that already I have just mentioned in my previous session, like whatever the software they are building or whatever the information system they are building, it has been divided into the number of modules. There are number of modules out there. Now, if I can give you the perfect example for that, they have to be designed the input screen or output screen. Okay. Now, for that, what they can do, they can prepare some type of screens, and they can, based on that, once developed, they can take the reaction from the user. Okay, that's why this is the user reaction. So user will use that. User will use that. Means the form we have only developed. Now the second thing is we have not developed any kind of the databases. Now what will be the use of this particular form? Now somebody will fill up this information and it will click on the submit button, and the data will be saved into your database. Now remember this thing, we have not created the database. We have only created some of the input forms of it. Now immediately we can take some reactions from the user. We will take some of the suggestions from the user side. We will try to be see from the client or user's view about any kind of new innovation into that. And if there is any changes is necessary or whatever, or the user has recommended some of the changes, then how we are going to be plan for the revision. Okay. Now immediately, if I can just show you, so because in that, why I'm just showing you this particular figure, because it will try to connect with this particular topic. This is very, very important. Now, guys, I hope so that this form is visible to everybody. So this is a basically prototype evaluation form. Okay. Now, what things I'm talking about? They have developed the input and output forms, but they have not developed the database yet. So what is in the prototyping? They will take the user requirement. Now system analyst has to gather the information. So we have already seen some of the interactive methods. We have already seen some of the unobtrusive methods also, right? So I hope so that it has been very, very clear to you. So what is there on the prototyping evaluation form? Observer name, date, system or project name, company or location, project name number, version. You on the left hand side, if you can just see, then user name, period observed, user reactions, user suggestions, innovations or revision plan. Now I'm just reading out this particular point over here. Kindly just follow my mouse cursor. So they have written the user first username, second username, means they have developed the prototype. Prototype means they have developed some of the screens, input output screen based on the user requirement. Now what the user will do, these are the two users who have observed that particular prototype. Okay, date has been mentioned. Now what is the user reactions? Now this is very, very important. Generally favorable, got excited about this particular project, excellent. Okay. Now if we can just see, then one user has given the average feedback and one user has given the excellent feedback. User suggestions, add the date when maintenance was performed. So they have given some suggestion. Place a form number on the top for reference. Place word weekly in the title. Now you can just see it over here, guys. When I am talking about the prototyping, so first of all, the prototyping is more concentrating on the user requirement. Okay, and continuous feedback and suggestions that they are going to be taken whenever they have to be just develop any different kind of the versions of this particular information system. So they have divided things into the number of modules. They are working on it. Currently, they are taking the reaction from the user, suggestion from the user, innovation, if any, and revision plan. Now, if I can just talk about the revision plan over here, then modify on 1/8/2013, review with the angry ND and the PAM. So ND and the PAM, these are the two users. So in revision plan, you have to be update, like you have to be modify this thing, like what the user suggestion, add the data when maintenance was performed. So they have done it. Place a form number on the top for reference, place word weekly in the title. So they have updated this thing into the modification in the form. Okay. Going back. Okay. So three things, as I have told you: read, prototyping, and the assign. So prototyping, if we can just see the proper definition, these are the four types of prototyping. So the system analyst has to be present a prototype of the information system, proposed information system of the organization. They are keenly interested in the reaction of the users and reaction from the management also. Now I have just given you the example of the reaction from users, but they are also supposed to take the reaction of the management also. You want to just know in detail, like how they react to the working with the prototype and how good the fit is between their needs and the prototype feature of the system. So according to their user requirement, means what is their suggestion, what is their reaction. So in prototyping, they are more concentrating, or they are more they are more interested in this. Reactions has to be gathered through the observation, their interviews and feedback sheets, or sometimes we can call it as a questionnaire. Right? So information gathered in the prototyping phase, it will allow the analyst to set the priorities and redirect the plans inexpensively with a minimum of the disruption. So we are going to be talk about over here the four types of prototype. Now in that every prototyping, I will give you a one example. Okay, and in that, now in that, like I've just given you one example of, they have created the forms. Now they will take the feedback. Now in that database, they have not created. So there would be a no meaning of developing this kind of a form until and unless you have not created the database. So we can call this kind of prototyping as the non-operational. Operational means it is not working. Basically, we have designed and everything, but it is not working in the real world. Okay. So I'm just starting up with the four types of prototyping: patched up, non-operational, first of a series, or either it is the selected features. Okay. Now, so patched up prototyping, this is the first kind of the prototype. It has to be do with the constructing a particular system that has been worked, but it is patched up or patched together. If I can give you the example in the engineering approach, so the best example for this is working model of an integrated circuit. Working model of an integrated circuit. Now, in this particular example, if we can try to be relate with the information system, then we can call it is a working model that has all the necessary features. Okay. The working model, this type of first prototype, patched up prototype, it has all the features, necessary features, but it is inefficient. Okay. This is the proper definition of the patched up prototyping. Now, in this type of prototyping, users can interact with the system. Like I've given you the example of input forms, database not created. Users can interact with the system. Types of output are also available, but the retrieval and storage of information may be inefficient. Right? I'm just repeating again. Simple manner. Patched up, if I can just show you in the form of a diagram over here. Just a minute. Yeah, like this. First one, patched up. Okay. It has all the necessary features, but it is inefficient. Example they are giving, you can interact with the system, types of outputs are available, okay, but the retrieval and the storage of information may be inefficient. Okay, you cannot retrieve the data from that, like that much only prototype they have developed. So this type of prototype who has all the necessary features, but it is inefficient because some of the some of the things which is not working. So we can put it into the category of inefficient, like as the retrieval of the information or the storage of the information. Okay, patched up prototype. Second one is the called as the non-operational prototype. So non-operational prototype, you can just see in this diagram on your screen. We have three things: input, process, and output. Now, non-operational prototype, it is the second conception of a prototype, is that is the non-working scale model. That is the non-working scale model that is set up to test certain aspects of the design. So basically this non-operational prototype is more interested or more concentrating on the designing of the designing. We have to be design something and we are doing the test on this particular design. Now in this approach, guys, they are giving a particular example. Now in the engineering approach, if we can just take an example of this, then it would be full scale model of an automobile. Okay, engineering approach that is used in wind tunnel test. Wind, W-I-N-D, wind tunnel test. So they have designed something, and in the non-operational prototype, they are doing some of the testing on the designed model. In the context of the information system, if I just want to tell you, then it would be like a non-working scale model of an information system might be produced when the coding required by the application is too expensive to prototype, but when a useful idea of the system can be gained through the prototyping of the input and output only. In this instance, processing because of the undue cost and time would not be prototyped. Users could still make decisions on the utility of the system based on their use of prototype input and output. So basically, if we just want to summarize this particular thing, so they have designed, they are also talking about their input. Input you can give, process you can internally process will happen and you will get the output. Now what type of output you are going to be get? Because in this non-operational prototype, whatever the design we have made, we have to be test that particular design. Okay, so definitely you will get some of the output, either it will be okay, either it will be not okay, or you are going to get some of the suggestions from the user or from the management side. First of a series prototype. Now in this particular diagram, if you can just see, then facility 1, facility 2 and facility 3. Now we can try to understand this type of a prototype if we are just trying to build a first full scale model of a system. Now remember, in non-operational prototype we are talking about the non-working scale model. Okay, now in the first of a series prototype we are talking about the it's a type of the prototyping that is involving creating a first full scale model of a system. So what the thing is missing in the non-operational prototype, okay, they have to be fulfilled in the first of a series prototype. We are just calling it as a pilot. Okay. Now guys, just remember this particular point, write down in the notebook. Like in the first of a series prototype, where we are just trying to be develop the first full scale model of a system. Sometimes we can call it as a pilot, P-I-L-O-T. An example is prototyping, like it's a first airplane of a series. Okay. Now you have decided like this type of things that you are going to be developed in the future. But when you have to be developed the first thing, okay, like they are giving example of first airplane of this particular series. Okay. So this particular prototype is completely operational and is the realization of what the designer hopes will be a series of airplane with the identical features. Now we can just try to be understand this particular first of a series prototype, like they have designed and it is fully operational. Now I'm just giving you example of in the business context. Now they have developed the system, developed a prototype. And for example, guys, when a retail grocery chain, okay, intends to use the electronic data interchange (EDI) to check in suppliers' shipment in a number of outlets. So what they will do? A full-scale model might be installed in one store. So what you are telling in the first of a series prototype, you have developed a new design, fully operational prototype, correct? So what we can do, we can install it at one outlet, and then we can check the reaction, or either if there would be any suggestion. Okay. So we'll try the user and management reaction based on that. If it is successfully, if it is not means if it is not giving the any kind of the problem, okay, or if there are any minor minor changes are there, then we can do that, and then we can implement it in all the other outlets. Okay. So patched up is the all the features are there but is inefficient. Non-operational, where we are doing the where we have developed the design and we are doing the checking for that. Engineering approach, I have told you about this wind tunnel test related to the automobile industry. And first of a series prototype, it's a fully operational model, right? And in that all the features are there, design is also okay, but for testing we have to be install it at one place where we can check, take the reaction, and then we can circulate it or we can install it to all the outlets. Now the fourth one is the selected features prototype. Now this is the last and the fourth conception of the prototyping. It will concerns building an operational model that includes some but not all of the features that the final system will have. Now this is the final step basically. So in that finally we have to be deliver the system. So according to the user requirement, this particular prototype has all the features that should be there in the final system. Like you can consider this particular situation like this, an analogy would be a new retail shopping mall. Okay, so shopping mall is big, so we are on the direction of the means creating the shopping mall. Okay, so we have to be just do the base. First of all, we can create. Okay, and then we can just means creating the walls. Then we have a shops. Okay, later stairs. Then we can come up with the overall building. So it's an analogy would be a new retail shopping mall that opens before the construction of all shops is completed. Okay, so in this type of prototyping information system in this way, so but not all essential features has to be included. Now they've given a very good example over here. For example, users may view a system menu on a screen. Okay, that has showing these 6 features. Now what is these 6 features are there? Add a record, update a record, delete a record, search a record, list a record, or scan a record. These are the some 6 features are there. In this type of prototype system, however, only 3 of the 6 may be available for the use. You have 6 options, correct? But out of that, only 3 may be available for the use. So the user may record, add a record, delete a record, or list a record. Okay, 3 are working, 3 are not working. So user feedback can help the analyst try to understand what is working and what is not working. Okay, then it can also help with the suggestions on what features has to be added next. When this type of prototyping has been done, the system is accomplished in the modules, so that if the features that are prototyped are evaluated by the users as successful or not successful, they can be incorporated into the larger final system without undertaking immense work in the interfacing. Prototypes done in this manner are part of the actual system, right? So guys, these are the 4 types of the prototyping methods. Once again, I'm revising, so it should not be any confusion at all, right? Test up, all the features are there, what it is inefficient. Non-operational prototype, we have to be test the designing of that, not full scale model. First of a series prototype, full scale model. Okay, what the designing means, all the features are also there. Then we have to be try at one place, then we have to be take the user reaction, and then if successful, then we have to be install it at other places. Selected feature prototype, we are giving, we have taken the requirement from the user side, 6 options should be there. So the system analyst should also be know from this kind of a prototype, that is the 4th one, what is working, what is not basically working. Okay, so selected features prototype. So these are the 4 types of prototypes are there. Now I'm just moving ahead to prototyping, my next concept in this category. So this is the explanation. Okay, I have not shown you at all, right? But these are the 4 points basically for the writing in the exam. It would be good. Okay, already I have given you this particular PPT in your ERP system. Okay, this is the diagram. Now, the next subtopic in this category is the prototyping as an alternative to the system life cycle. Okay. Now, see, the thing is like at the some time, like your system analyst has been argue like prototyping and the agile software development methods, it's best compare than the SDLC. Okay. Now, there is some points are there related to the SDLC. Now, they are find out with the 2 main core problems. First one is the extended time required to go through the development life cycle. So we have already discussed this kind of a thing when we have started the project, and it is also taking 7 to 8 months to complete that, because he has to be just go through each and every phase of the SDLC. Most important, another concern, another core problem in this SDLC, like if the user requirement has been changed over the time. So what is our phases? We have taken the user requirement, doing the analysis, designing and all. When we have reached up to the testing and all, and finally we are doing the implementation, at that time if the user is just going to be doing any kind of the change, so that is not possible. Okay, so first is the extended time. So there would be an effect on investment of the analyst time increases, and the cost of the delivered system has been rise proportionately. The second concern is the user requirement change over the time. Now, during the long interval between the time that user requirement has been analyzed and the time that the finished system has been delivered, now user requirements are evolving. So, because of the extended development cycle, the resulting system may be criticized for inadequately addressing the current user information requirement. So that is the two core problems with the SDLC. Now, if we have seen we have just seen the four types of prototyping. Now, in that, if you can just compare with this SDLC with prototyping. Now, in prototyping, whatever the model we are preparing, we are just showing or taking the feedback from the users, right? So it would be in prototyping, the customer is more satisfied. Okay. So to overcome these kind of problems, some analysts propose that prototyping has to be used as an alternative to the SDLC. When prototyping is used in this particular way, the analyst effectively shorten the time between the uncertain of user information requirement and delivery of a workable system. Okay. So what they are just trying to be proposed, like prototyping, it should be one of the method we can use it in the place of the SDLC. Okay, so guys, this is that's all from my side for today. Right? If you have any question, you can please ask.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are going to have our test next week, and we don't know where to begin studying. Which topic have you prepared?
Okay.
How many units? From which unit to which unit?
Yeah. Two units. Basically, the thing is that I have just completed the portion of prototyping, right? So your questions will be there till prototyping. Whatever I have covered in the sessions, that would be your syllabus, not complete second unit. Okay, right?
Up to the topic of today?
Yeah. Today topic you can include in the syllabus. Yes. Prototyping.
Okay, then you'll need to upload it for us in our ERP.
I have already uploaded this PPT in your ERP. You can please check.
Okay.
Already uploaded three days before, right? Yeah, you can just check it once and let me know. If you are not able to find it out, then I will guide you. I will put it again. No issue at all. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Today I think so. You have a certain class test for different subjects, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. We will take it after your this one. We have a SET exam on 6th, right? Day after tomorrow. Your revision test, right?
No, it's tomorrow.
On 6th of May you have na SET exam.
5th of May.
6th of May, na? Okay. Right. Okay. So guys, in that you can just study, and I will just give you some idea. Okay. My screen is visible, na? Okay. Yeah. I just want to show you something so that you will also get some idea what type of questions basically. Just a moment. Okay, I have find out some of the things like we have seen about this JD approach, right? If the question is something like it's a label supply information to strategic tire for the use. Okay, so we already know we have 4 options. operational, environmental, competitive, and tactical. Okay, so tactical is the second level of the managers, middle level managers, who is going to be supply the information to the strategical level. Okay, what do you mean by SDLC? Right?
System Development Life Cycle.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Then we have a main ingredient of the report documenting the cost benefit analysis. So we have seen the cost benefit analysis in feasibility study. Correct? Analysis no, analyst no, design no. So we have seen this kind of feasibility study into the like cost benefit analysis in the economic feasibility study, right? Now design phase consists of identify the functions to be performed, design the input, output, and file design, defining the basic parameter for the system design. Now they can give you the options like 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So like GDSS, group discussion support system. Okay. So kindly just try to thorough each and every point for this mid-sem exam also. Okay, and for the revision test also. Right. Okay, just I'll download the attendance. Included in the revision test. Yeah, whatever the portion I have covered. Mansoor Hotak, right? Whatever the portion I have covered, it should be there in your revision test. 20 questions, MCQ questions. Okay. Seven zero zero 1 0 2 3 4 5 6 7 9 12 15 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 25 27 28 29 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 40 41 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 58 59 71 79 81 82 87 88 90 91 92 93 94 95 98 99 01 02 03 04 08 10 12 13 14 15 16 18 19 20 21 23 24 25 and 26. Okay. Right. Okay, whoever number is not there in my Excel sheet, they can write down their number in the, yeah, somebody has, okay, somebody has raised the hand. Okay, you can write down your number in the chat box. I'll take it from there. 7007 7032 7007 74 7009 7035 20. Okay, you can write. Okay guys, thank you so much.